All right, welcome back to Fright Flicks, the horror, and the very first, possibly last, we'll see, review of the 5th season of American Horror Story Hotel. This is a series that I'm going to be hosting basically solo, Mike here, but on special occasion, and possibly, again, the only occasion, I am joined by my co-host of everything else, Nate Hensley.
Thanks for having me, Mike.
I've
got a very strange but specific protocol that I follow with American Horror Story. So
okay.
I don't want to spill the beans just yet, but
sure.
You know,
okay. Well, we'll hold off on that. It is weird.
You may or may not see me co-hosting this again with you. I don't know.
I feel like Johnny Carson or something. Hello, Nate. How are you today? Waka waka. Tell us a funny story, an anecdote, if you will. So yeah, my history with American Horror Story is I watched the very first episode of the very first season very consciously, and I don't watch TV because I was like, horror TV. Watched it from the beginning, loved it because I was one of the people who did not know, because I didn't research TV shows back then, that it was an anthology. So it was a hell of an experience watching, thinking that this was, I was like, how are they going to sustain a haunted house?
Agreed.
For 5 seasons.
I felt the same way.
And it continuously blew me away because it never entered it. No one else I knew was watching it. I did not know until the end. When it ended, I was like, holy shit. So, very excited about season 2. I think I watched 2 episodes and was like, nope, not for me. Did not grab me at all. Started watching 3 eventually because everyone was like, oh, this is really, really good. And I can see not liking 2, but 3 was good. So I watched 3 and it has a lot of people I like in it. And I was like, all right, let me just get through the hump. And I think it was episode 4 and I'm like, I still do not give one fucking shit. I was like, nope, life's too short. And I stopped watching even Coven. I watched Freak Show just to kind of be a completist, try to be. And that one actually held my attention. That says something because I am a completist. I don't like stopping something once I start it.
You know, you're actually not too far off from me.
No,
I watched the entire first season, and I was psyched for the second season.
Right.
Because of the end, I didn't know what to expect.
Right. Asylum, good idea.
Yeah, and they threw so many ideas out there so quickly that, I don't know, it was too much of a good thing. You know?
Sure.
And none of the ideas were fully fleshed out. And even though the pace was red hot, I maybe got 3 or 4 episodes in and I tuned out. And then Coven, since it's an anthology, it's going to be like True Detective or Fargo, where no matter how a season turns out, I'm going to come back and I'm going to watch the pilot for the next season.
Sure.
And Coven, I watched, I think, all of the first episode and never had a desire to finish it. Freak Show, I watched 2, and unlike Coven, I didn't intentionally stop watching it because it was bad. After the second one, I just sort of forgot about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm. And I think I would have too. That's something, again, what I was saying about Freak Show was it held my attention, which is basically all I can really say about it because I don't remember what I was doing at the time, but I think there was a span of time where I wasn't working on a TV show or a short or something, and our workload here was more relaxed, blah, blah, blah. So I was able to sit down for I had 2 days free, which I don't anymore. And I watched Sleepy Hollow, and I watched American Horror. If I didn't have just those 2 days to do nothing but watch movies, I wouldn't have finished Freak Show. They're fun, they're interesting, their pacing, yes, is red hot, but the problem that seems to persist, and it's very evident already here, is that you're right you mentioned way back when we talked about TV shows, they do not give you characters that you give a shit about.
Not once in 5 seasons.
Well, I liked them in first season.
You know, those were the best, but I still was never really invested in them.
I definitely was by the end.
Right, but I mean, you know, at the time they were interesting enough, but looking back, I don't remember anybody's names.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
I actually don't. The Harmons, but that's all I remember.
They have a lot of interesting characters, just not any. I don't know. I don't want to say real characters, but they never create characters that I genuinely sympathize with. Case in point, just like a real specific example from the debut of Hotel. Was the most sympathetic character on the show, I think, is played by Wes Bentley, who is inherently unsympathetic. He always seems like a creeper to me.
Yeah.
Everything we were presented was, he's the baby face. I still expect him to be a serial killer.
Yeah.
Because it's Wes Bentley.
it might be an inherent problem in the anthology. It's like, who cares to like love and get to like these people? We know not only are they all going to be either dead or they're just irrelevant after these 12 episodes,
right?
Or it's, I think this is a big one too, is that they're so into surprising and doing crazy stuff. You don't let yourself get involved, and I don't think they build character well enough,
right?
Because they can die at any time.
Yes.
So you just don't let yourself get involved with them.
That's an excellent point. This is a show that is really all about shock value.
Yeah, and it's plot, it's fast as shit. It's
the showrunners know what they're doing.
Yeah, it's a haunted house and it's very effective.
And it is so slickly produced. It's well directed. It looks good. The production values are top notch.
Yes.
They have a great cast. What they don't have is writing. You know, I think that's really the backbone that would sort of sustain it.
I would disagree. There were multiple times in any given one of their seasons other than 2, but especially in this pilot episode of Hotel, where I found myself saying, that is good writing.
Really?
Yes. I can get into some of the writing things if you'd like me to, but we'll get into the actual episode here in a second. Anyway, what were you saying about?
Was it, this is sort of a sidebar, I guess, but was it just me? Was I looking too much into it? But I felt a lot of similarities between this and Murder House from season 1. It was, I don't know, very reminiscent of it.
Well, first reaction, no, not at all. That never crossed my mind, so I guess not, but
okay.
Maybe I just missed some of it?
Well, no, I mean, not necessarily. Maybe it's just that we've got, I assume it's California because they had the same realtor.
Yes, it's California.
So, you know, same locale, I guess around the same time frame.
Sure.
We've got a haunted building.
Sure.
That spirits reside there and interact with living people that also reside there.
Sure.
So you're not sure what the supernatural element is.
Oh, okay, no, I get you.
You know, but that same sort of general plot description
okay, right.
seemed to be there.
Well, see, this is the thing I think about that, and that's actually, again, what's cool, is that they're all writers. They know, and they all tend to write their series, each individual series, whatever. So they know the whole trick of episode 5. That's when you realign what's important and when you switch things up. So I can only assume that when they pitch the series, they have, like, I would say 10 seasons planned. At least they have the plan to go 10 seasons. So one of the reasons I would stick around for this show, again, we'll get to that at the end here, guys, stick around for this show, would be if I watched 2 and 3. But I didn't, so for the most part it's going to be lost, but I would stick around because I have a feeling if they're going to, this is the season that they're really going to tie all the other seasons together, and that the next 5, it's going to be complete, because they sprinkled things. You know, all of them take place in the same universe, but sprinkles. This is the season where it could be, oh yeah, here come all 4 at the same time to reignite the plot to take you through 10. And 5 would also be a callback to get back on track, what made it work in the first place. You know, so it kind of makes sense if you took them as episodes.
That's an interesting sort of overarching approach that I hadn't thought of, and if they're going in that direction, that would be interesting.
And so that brings me to the point that maybe we should get out of the way right now, is that more than likely you are not sticking around for at least the reviews and stuff like that. Maybe you'll watch one here, there, or the other. I said that I was going to review these. This is the first time I'm saying this, and I'm 100% serious. If I do not get the required feedback, and I'll be specific here, I am not going to continue doing this. That's kind of a spoiler alert on my overall
right.
score for the pilot of part 1, but stick around because it's a weird rating. Let's just say that. It comes with a lot of caveats.
It really does.
Basically, what I'm looking for is, if you liked this video and want to hear my jackass, maybe even Nate, talk about all 12 of these episodes, we will do it, and we will be enthusiastic, and I will do my 4 hours an episode research and
Vox
all
Populi,
that shit.
Voice of the people. If y'all are if y'all are that interested in this show, we'll both definitely be back.
We will do it,
you know,
for enthusiasm for you guys, not the show. But if we don't get comments being like, no, come on, at least stick around for 2 or 3, I'll probably do 2, 3 maybe. I'm not going to continue. I'm telling you that right now. Life's too fucking short for this shit. But anyway.
Agreed.
So
let's finally jump into the episode.
Yeah, the actual episode. You guys probably all watched it. If you didn't, and you're wondering if this season's worth watching, if you didn't like the other ones, you're not going to like this one. If you liked the other ones, you're going to like this one, basically.
A lot of sizzle, no steak. A lot of style, no substance. That was my personal take on it. There was an enormous body count. There was a lot of very graphic sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Yeah.
They really threw, in what has become the style of the show, they threw every possible thing at you that you could imagine. It was overwhelming, and something was constantly happening.
Yeah.
But I just couldn't get invested. Maybe it was there was too much happening.
It was
one shocking thing after the other.
Yeah.
And because I didn't care about what was happening to anybody, it was like, oh, that was gross. It wasn't impactful.
Nope.
Because I didn't care about who was involved. But, props for gore, props for pushing the envelope and being shocking. But I hate to sound like an old man, being shocking isn't enough. If I'm going to be genuinely shocked by something and moved by it, I have to be invested. And there was no time for investment. It was just shock after shock.
Yeah, no. So I'm watching this episode. I paused it to take a cigarette break. I was like, this is what I love fucking Ryan Murphy now and Brad Falchuk, and it's like they know how to make shit fucking interesting and holy. And then I went to hit pause and it was like 10 or 15. I was like, I have to sit for another 45 minutes.
Yeah, well, and it was an extra long episode.
Yeah,
too.
it was an hour long, and I was like, how? I am very, very good. We can play a game if you ever want to. If we're watching something, you can randomly be like, Mike, do your timer thing, and I'll tell you, and you can hit the timer how long we've been watching. I'm very good at pacing.
Right.
That I know where something is. I was way off. I was like, bro, I do no. And this show would probably be awesome if it was like, there you go, perfect example. If it was fucking like Rick and Morty, Aqua Teen Hunger Force, Metalocalypse, which are insanity and crazy and funny and what for 11 minutes.
Right, it's a very small dose.
I am not watching an hour-long Aqua Teen. Like, shit gets old.
No, it was...
They
tried that with Aqua Teen, and it was terrible.
Yeah, the movie, I'm a huge Aqua Teen fan. Hate the fucking movie.
Hate the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
That shit does not fucking fly, and I think that's what my takeaway, I guess, is of this season, at least, is it's like, no.
It's funny that you bring up the short-form cartoon format.
Right, because I love that format. It's great.
Because my takeaway from this was music videos. I was like, you know what? It feels like I have watched an hour worth of music videos in which my eyes were constantly entertained with candy, and now that it's over, I can remember none of it.
Right, which again, spoiler alert, my review number, if that means anything to you guys, is actually going to be higher than you would ever assume, because other than the characters, like I said, I'm even going to praise the writing. This shit is fucking top notch. Other than one actor, everything is so fucking good. But you're right, it's watching an hour of commercials or music videos. Right. I respect the hell out of it, but there's nothing to it.
And that's kind of literal, because there were at least two...
It seriously is literal. I really like that's what it is.
2, maybe 3 musical montages in 1 hour.
Right.
They're got to be going for some sort of record here.
Right, which again, I would celebrate, but it is kind of... Maybe it's also the whole... Ryan Murphy is a household name as far as the people we interact with nowadays. I don't know if you've noticed that. Ryan Murphy is a damn household name. Like, everyone knows him. Everyone mentions him when they talk about any one of these shows. A lot of people don't know Brad Falchuk or whatever. But everyone's like, if you ask somebody, anyone on the street who would bother to watch these shows, what did you think of American Horror Story? Oh, well, I really like Ryan Murphy or Ryan Murphy. His name comes up fast as shit, like Josh Whedon's does. You say Scream, people are like, well, MTV, this, the label, Cartoon Network, Adult Swim. The label for everything that he does is now Ryan Murphy.
Sure, he's like Shonda Rhimes.
He's a brand.
Yeah, the showrunner is the brand.
Yeah, which is cool, and I do think he deserves it, but it's just like, bro, calm the fuck down. But again, that's just me being an old guy. It's not me being an old guy, because you have to be in the mood for a haunted house. As good as the haunted house is, is, I don't want to be in the mood for getting invested, like I said, in characters for the long haul and then enter a haunted house. It's like, I don't care who the fucking festival workers are at a haunted house. Just entertain me.
Right.
And it will be perfect for you if that's what you want. And one day down the line, I'm very sure that I'm going to be dating somebody. Life's going to get fucking boring. We're going to need something to binge watch. And I'm going to be like, American Horror Story Season 5. It had its first good 2 episodes. Mm-hmm. But I do not give a shit when I have other stuff to do and other shows that interest me more. Anyway, one thing I did want to get into real quick, because you mentioned it, is the writing. There was a lot of stuff in the writing that I liked a lot. They're really good about misdirection in the way that I thought they would find a body. I did not expect a living, creepy creature to come out of that mattress.
Right.
They're good at shocks.
Well, yeah.
They do shit that, like, not only is visually shocking, but I did not see it coming. I also have to give them credit for that. Their pacing is ridiculous. They are so goddamn imaginative that it is a shame they don't pace their imaginations better.
To give things more impact.
Yeah, make these 22 episodes, or, I'm sorry, cut out some of your awesome ideas. You have great ideas, great visuals, great side characters, great architecture, great all these ideas, but you just have way too many of them that it whitewashes every single one of them. And I'm just like, I can't do this. I don't give a shit. This was cool. It's Michael Bay and Transformers. The first 20 minutes of a Transformers movie is always cool because you're like, holy shit, but then you get used to it, and then there's 4 hours to fucking watch.
Yeah.
One thing I really liked that was character-based, and it was the only thing they did, other than Kathy Bates, but Kathy Bates is so damn good, you like her no matter... if they give her nothing, she's still likable.
That's her.
Yeah.
Her character wasn't written for anything, and I don't really get a sense of her character, but she acts her ass off.
Yeah, and it just goes to show, again, that you're right. When you don't have great character, and maybe they do, but I don't think they do, have good character stuff, and you're hiring actors who aren't inherently likable and sympathetic, like Kathy Bates basically is the only one. Even Chloe Sevigny is still kind of like, I don't know about her.
Yeah, she's off.
They did one really good character thing, which is Wes Bentley. They spend the first basically 2 scenes with him showing that he is on his shit as a detective. Not only is he really good at it, he sees stuff other people don't. We've seen this a million times. He walks into his office and he's like, get me the case file for whatever. She's like, they haven't done it yet. Like, you're calm down. He's like, not that one, another one. So he's working 2 cases. And then his daughter calls and she's like, there's somebody on the phone for you. He's like, tell him I'll call him back. He's really adamant. And he's like, tell him. And that was so cool. Yes. That was such a good character thing. He is so into his job, but he's even more into his kid. Like, he is not having the most important shit in his life. Does not matter one bit when it's time to read his daughter a bedtime story. Yeah. That shit is badass. Unfortunately, that was the only thing.
And you're right. It was a great character moment. And this is the only part of my review which is based on previous seasons.
Sure.
Having seen previous seasons, my first thought during that scene was like, oh, it's going to be so sad when she gets killed.
Or it's exactly. Or it's like, oh, it's so sad when he finally realizes he's crazy and she's been dead for years.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Is again, maybe it's an inherent problem.
But when something bad is revealed about the girl or something bad happens to her, you might actually care about that.
I doubt it.
I don't know.
I doubt it, because I didn't care when they put her in danger later. I was like, yeah, okay, here we go. You're going to kill a kid.
Why are they going to kill a kid this early?
Yeah, how shocking.
But, they didn't.
And actually, I'm going to retake back something I said earlier. It's not Ryan Murphy. Because when we go on to Scream Queens, which listen to our review for that, they can do characters in their wham bam, joking, who can die at any time. They can make characters that you give a shit about.
Sure, but comedy and horror are similar in a lot of ways, but different in a lot of very important ways. So,
I was going to say that it's easier to make people likable in horror, but that's not necessarily true. What's funny is how you make people likable, especially how down and dirty a movie is. Like Seven, David Fincher's really good about it. The more down and dirty a movie is, the funnier the characters are, then they're automatically likable because they're the opposite in the world.
Right.
So Scream Queens, that cancels itself out because the horror is already poppy enough. This show doesn't really have a sense of humor, so we don't have that. Like, where's your sense of humor? Why is it all humor here and no humor here? And I mean, I get it. There's humor. It's dark humor and it's deadpan humor. Like, if you injected a little bit more fun and actual jokes, which you guys are good at, that would at least probably make them slightly likable.
Right.
But everyone's so concerned with just being a dirt human being. Which brings me to another thing. If this show's good for anything else, it was just all I could think is I was like, American Psycho got rated NC-17 for its this 3-way sex scene. Holy shit. We get a 4-way sex scene where I swear to God, this was like Hitchcock in the shower type shot structure where you're like, I saw the knife go in. I swear I saw butthole, dick, ball. I swear, like, I know that we didn't, but it cut so close to all of that stuff and just so many images. I was like, holy shit. Like, how is it okay that Lady Gaga is topless, but she has the pasties on?
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's like, how weird.
Because the nipple is the offensive part.
How weird.
Of the boob.
Even though her pasty takes up the exact same area of space. How weird is our world that this is the way that it is? But this shit, I'm like, this would get an NC-17 if it was a movie. And it's just on fucking TV.
Yeah.
Just a weird thing that I noticed. And I continuously, like, I'll give them credit for that. For the desensitized, ADD-addled TV watchers who like this kind of stuff. And I can imagine, I'm not hating on you if that's your thing. Holy shit. Like, it constantly shocked me.
Right.
And last season shocked me. And then this season...
You know, and let's not overlook that this incredibly graphic sex scene happened,
Which one? Oh, okay,
20 minutes after the incredibly graphic rape scene.
With a drill and, like, again, I swear to God...
Yeah. It was a distance shot, so it wasn't, like, crisp and clear,
but nothing blocked it.
Yeah, it just, like, he just raped this kid for, like, ever.
With a drill.
Yeah.
And when she walks by the mirror, that's what you're talking about. When she walks by the mirror, you can see in the mirror thrusting.
Yeah.
And
it is.
There's nothing blocking what's going on. You just can't see it for some reason.
It is incredibly graphic.
Yeah, and we remember back in 1999, Stanley Kubrick had to CGI cult members so you didn't see thrusting in a fucking R-rated Stanley Kubrick movie. Children aren't going to see Eyes Wide Shut. And now on network TV, we can show.
This is one more piece of evidence about how the MPAA is irrelevant.
Anyway, so we need to wrap this up but again, I just wanted to offer you what I'm willing to do, which is go in depth and think about these things and whatever. And I'll happily do that. But if this gets like 31 views and like 3 comments, I'm not wasting my fucking time.
And good luck on fulfilling the promise of going in depth. I hope it doesn't come to that, because this is not a show that has depth.
I just meant intricacies.
We always sort of rate things on a scale of 1 to 10 here, and I am giving this show a 5 for a very specific reason. I was mentioning earlier, I kicked off my review by talking about style and substance. The style, a 9 out of 10.
Yep.
Easily a 9 out of 10. It was fantastic looking. The substance, a 1, maybe a 2 out of 10. There was virtually nothing there. So, put them together, we got a solid 5, an incredibly well-made show that I don't have a desire to watch next week. It's going to be a cavalcade of gross stuff and music montages, and it'll definitely be interesting, but it gave me no reason to really care and come back on purpose.
Like, it's weird. I feel like a fuddy-duddy not liking this show. The rating, again, is really weird. I was going to give it an 8 because, which I guess is misleading, but it's not like we label our reviews with the rating that we eventually give it. Because it's like, I get your 5 out of 10 thing, definitely. But, again, since it doesn't really matter, these are all arbitrary anyway, I'm going to stick with the 8 thing just because it's what I thought of before. It stresses the point that it is fucking top notch in every, like, I love their use of wide-ass fisheye lenses that race toward... Like, their use of, like, camera movement going in and coming out, then how they transition between scenes and how they balance, like, 5 separate stories going on. The only thing, like I said, the only thing that I don't like about the show, but it's huge, no characters to invest in, and Sarah Rollerson, I believe, is the chick. Fucking hated her.
Oh, Sarah Paulson?
Paulson. I really liked her. I haven't liked her in anything. I liked her in Freak Show where she played the 2. I was like, oh, wow, she's actually pretty good. She is just one of those people who you had to suffer through in drama class, where it's like, tone it down, motherfucker.
Right.
Especially when she had to act against Kathy Bates, who is like naturalism to a T, and she's sitting there like, I get this shit's exaggerated. Trust me, you don't watch American Horror Story and not get the shit's exaggerated. I'm just saying, I do not like her acting style at all.
So
anyway,
an 8 out of 10, that's huge, because like a 5 out of 10, I agree, technically everything is right about it.
Well,
but I couldn't in good conscience recommend it to somebody for them to watch.
Well, see, I could. It's just not for me right now. No, not my thing.
Definitely.
But if I did like this kind of stuff, I would probably have given it an 8 out of 10. If not, a fucking 10 out of 10. Right. If I was like 2 years younger...
And you watched America's Next Top Model.
Yeah. Well, see, I'm a year too old for this. Or 2 years too old for this. But I have a feeling that 26, 28-year-old Mike would have been like, fuck yeah, this is 10 out of 10. Nate, you're an old man. This was awesome. And blah. Who needs characters? Blah, blah, blah. Something happened in the last 2 years. I don't know. What?
And that is an incredibly valid point. I stand by my rating.
No, I get you.
5 out of 10.
And mine is a 5 out of 10, technically.
But, there are people out there that really don't care about characters.
Yeah.
They care more about the special effects and about what Lady Gaga is wearing and stuff like that. And this is a show for you.
Yeah.
But that ain't me.
Yeah. It's like, I don't need to watch Downtown Abbey all the time. Not all my shows have to be a character, but I need something. You got to give me something. Anyway, so an 8 out of 10. That review comes from 26 to 28-year-old Mike, and every year younger. But 31-year-old Mike would technically give it a 5 because it's just like, damn, sucks that it's not good.
Right. Looks like it should be good, but it's not.
What are you going to do?
Oh, well.
Like Marcus Nespel movies. But anyway, still waiting for him to make something that's worth his awesome-ass visual. Michael Bay, too, for that reason. Everyone talks shit about Michael Bay, but it's goddamn true. Michael Bay is way too good at visuals to be making such shit-ass movies. He just got too... This is just between us. He just got too big. No one can tell him, fucking calm down.
Right.
Like, just take out that silly comedy. Stop cutting every 3... Someone needs to rein him in, and his just camera placement and...
Did you ever listen to that review I did about the low-budget Marcus Nispel horror movie? That it was
or whatever?
Made for like $25,000?
No, that's that exorcism thing.
Yeah, Exeter.
Yeah, no, because I forgot about it because I was like, I wanted to not know what it was, and then I forgot. So I didn't ever want to mention it to you, and then I forgot. But it's on my desktop. I see it every fucking day, but I forget it exists, and I'm not looking at it. Literally. But it looks fucking really good.
You would never... I actually think Wikipedia is wrong when it says the budget was $25,000. I mean, that's how good it looks. It looked like, I would believe, like $1 million, maybe $2 million, just for the quality of the shots and everything.
Sure.
But for less than $50,000, like El Mariachi, Clerks, it's Pie, Primer, super low budget status.
Right.
It looks phenomenal.
No,
whether it is phenomenal is a different story.
Yeah,
but
Marcus Nespel, he's one of the reasons I think people would think I was insane. If I was making a movie and I'd be like, we're holding a screening today, we're going to watch Blade Runner, we're going to watch this, and we're going to watch fucking some Marcus Nespel movie. And I made people sit down and watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre and be like, whatever, just change the dialogue, does this, that, the... Because his texture is fucking on Fincher level. God, every single thing feels like you can fucking touch it. And there's mold on shit, and there's dirt, and there's rain, and there's clutter, and there's everything. Just, he's amazing, but he makes shit movies.
Right. You should probably do an outro.
Yeah, I know, right? No kidding.
We're about, 40 minutes or so?
Ridiculous. Okay, but that was our supersized first review of Hotel.
Hey, you know what? For better or worse, there is a lot to say about this show.
Exactly.
It is a conversation starter.
Right. So, there you go. You get probably the length of 2 regular shows because, again, just to state, I will not be continuing if you guys don't care. That is what I bring to the table. That will be my context. Hopefully it wins me over. I watch 3 episodes. But that's it. And there's no date on when those will come out. I'm not racing the fuck home and putting this review up either. So this will come up a Sunday afternoon.
While we've got your ear, though, I will be racing the clock to watch and review and post
something you're enthusiastic about. Exactly.
The new season of Walking Dead starts Sunday.
Yes.
And Frightflix is going to be all over that shit.
Not me, of course, because I don't give a shit. And that's why I would quit. Fuck anybody who say I'm one of those people. Don't quit shit in the middle. Fuck all that because I'm more into you have to be passionate about what you're fucking talking about, and I don't think I can be. But his Walking Dead shit, he's watched every episode. He tries to convince me all the fucking time, and it's never gonna happen to watch. So make sure you listen to those because that's love and enthusiasm, knowledge, all types of good shit that would be forced listening to Hotel. Anyway, so that will be coming up very soon, you said? When is that? 15th?
That kicks off on the 11th, I believe, is Sunday.
Okay, right on.
So it is just around the corner.
Okay, cool. We'll definitely look forward to that, guys. One thing I gotta point out about this episode, I don't know if you noticed, but if you guys know anything about me, if this is the first thing you're listening to, I'm a big fucking Scream fan. By default, I was a really big fan of the Scream TV series. Kind of both of us are here. Did you notice that the house they go to, and the little girl comes in and the disembowel, that was Nina's house?
It did look familiar. I didn't place it as Nina's house, but once you started that build-up, I was like, hey, maybe that was Nina's house.
Yep.
You know?
Yep, it is. It's a very famous movie house that was used in Fracture with Anthony Hopkins. Anyway, I was like, fuck yeah! That was literally the most excited I got in this whole episode. Oh, one thing we have to point this out. Fucking Hotel California.
Oh, yeah. I attempted to live
it won
tweet
me
this
up.
show.
It won me over at the end.
That was the nail in the coffin for me.
Yeah, I can
like,
see.
Seriously, you
I almost
guys?
turned it off.
Hotel
I was like,
California?
Yeah, yep.
God damn it.
Yep.
God
I almost
damn it.
turned it off. It won me over by the end, slightly, but I was like, nope, I'm done.
To quote the dude, I hate the fucking Eagles, man.
I was like, how fucking nail on the head was that bullshit? Yeah, that was, woo.
Yeah.
I wonder, sadly, there's probably a lot of people who are like, it was so creative that it makes so much sense. But it won me over at the end because I was like, just as a writer, I thought it was funny that I was like, oh, well, there you go. It's so obvious that it's like, they listen to Hotel California, and we're like, we should make a TV series about this. You can check in anytime you want, stab it with their steely knives, beasts, and... Holy shit, I was like, no! Like, my voice is hoarse. I can't even fully get the emotional reaction to say, fuck you. I'm dead serious.
Oh, I agree.
Anyway, okay, so 5 out of 10, 8 out of 10, in my weird way of doing it. Let us know if you want me to continue. I'll see you next week.